Hmm.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I'm your host, Josiah, aka Baller67. With me, as always, you know I got my buddy, I got my pal, I got my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing okay. I can't really complain. I've had a good weekend. Very simplistic stuff. Our VTM game that I normally play on Friday got canceled, so I didn't play. Instead, last second impromptu commander night, which is Mike and Chip, and us three just played games, and it was a relatively fun time. We actually got through like 3 games, just because there was a 1v1v1. That was fun. On Saturday, and why I'm a little tired today. Saturday, me and Terry went and got our license renewed. I got my license renewed. He got his ID updated, his information. But I got my ID officially turned into the real ID stuff that apparently is now like mandatory if I wish to fly. So I got that done, and I had to wait in the DMV for like an hour and a half, maybe. So I was just sitting there on my phone the whole time. Afterwards, went to Giant Eagle, got some groceries, and then we got home. And then our friend Jordan came over, and he was teaching me a thing called Kill Team, which is like a Warhammer game that instead of it being like the big army thing, it's like 5 people or 6 people or 10 people, and they're like predetermined things, and it's a lot less like customization but more like focused gameplay, and I enjoyed it so much more than the Warhammer game I played, because like Warhammer, just there's so much, like it's such a big scale, and then there's so much dice on dice on dice that everyone's rolling constantly, and it's just, there's a lot of RNG in the Warhammer game, and then that's not even talking about like you building your stuff and taking care of all that stuff. And I'm a very like, I just enjoy the more strategic kind of play, and that's what Kill Team was. And we ended up playing till like 2 in the morning because he got over here at like 10 o'clock at night. And then he had to like teach me stuff, and then I had to like learn to play it. And it took about like an hour and a half to play the game. But it was fun. It was good. And I was here till 2 in the morning. Then I went into my room and ended up playing games again until about 4 in the morning. And then I fell asleep later. So I'm tired because I went to bed at 4 in the morning, woke up at like 10 in the morning, talked and hung out with Terry for a couple hours, and then played some games, and then went back to sleep. And I was like, oh, I've only had 4 hours of sleep. Oh, that's my issue. And so, yeah. That's been my day other than playing games. Austin, how was your weekend?
Well, my weekend was good. I had a lot of stuff going on through my weekend that I'm trying to figure out, trying to get things ready, trying to figure all that out. But on top of it, I've been rewatching a TV show that I loved when I was a kid, and I'm rewatching it because I never watched anything past that kind of series. So I'm watching Batman the original animated series again.
Oh, okay.
I've never watched Batman Beyond, so it's like something that like I wasn't really into. Like when it first came out, I was like, I'm not. I kind of like the Kevin Conroy, so I stayed away from it for a while. And then I watched like a video retrospect of Batman Beyond. I was like, oh well, I might want to look at that. And then he did a retrospect for Justice League, and then he did a retrospect for like the New Adventures of Batman. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch these. So I've been sitting down and watching them with my foster kid, and then from time to time, you know, we're trying to get ready for Christmas around here. You know, have to get everything done. We were cleaning up a lot for the last couple days, trying to get everything worked out because we got like a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. So we're just trying to like get everything done once. So pretty much it wasn't, you know, we really didn't do anything crazy this weekend. It was more of just like cleaning, hanging out, watching movies. Like we watched Polar Express tonight, and then we watched Jingle All the Way, which I haven't watched that movie in a long time, and I realized that movie is kind of cringe, which is funny. It's funny because like, you know, I started questioning myself after watching it, because like there's a scene where like he's in the parade and he has like the Turbo Man outfit.
Yeah.
And then they're like, use his turbo disc, use your jetpack. I was like, who in their right minds like built a real like action ride suit? Like, and was like, hey, you should do all this. Like, I was like, this is crazy. Like some of the replica stuff that they were doing. And then like, you know, how goofy it was. I was like, man, this is a goofy movie.
It makes you wonder if like the people putting on the parade really love the action, like the Action Man IP so much that they're like, it has to have a functioning dysfunction and actual like jetpacks
and a boomerang that actually works.
Something's off here. Like, what's going down?
Yeah, we watched that, and then I watched one of my favorite Christmas time movies, which a lot of people debate if it's a Christmas movie, but I watched Die Hard because it's not Christmas without, you know, Hans Gruber falling off the Nakatomi building.
I'm one of the people when people say like,
that's never watched
is this a Christmas movie? No, I have watched it.
Oh, okay.
If they ask like if something's a Christmas movie, I'm like, look, if we think Home Alone is a Christmas movie just because it takes place during Christmas, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas movie. There's another. What was the other movie that just came out a couple years ago that happened during
Violent Night?
No, it had nothing to do with Christmas, but it took place during Christmas. And people are like, well, this is a new Christmas movie. I can't remember what it is, but it had nothing to do with Christmas. But it was like, people enjoyed it, and they're like, well, it's your Christmas movie now.
No, well.
But that's my thing. I'm like, if you think that Home Alone's a Christmas movie, all those movies are Christmas movies too.
Yeah, so no, we've been watching that. We've been watching like Christmas movies back and forth. Like we've already went through like Elf. We did Elf last week, and then we did 3 this week pretty much. And then we've been just pretty much just jamming home most of the time, because we do have something coming up here soon that we had planned for like a while now. And then, you know, I was like, hey, you know. So yeah, we just been busy. So we just like kind of had a chill weekend in a week, because we didn't watch. So we didn't do Murders in the Building because of Thanksgiving and stuff, because you came back. And then also too is I was so busy that I forgot to watch. So I started watching it like right after you left. I was like, all right. So yeah.
I will say because we didn't do it last week because I had to come back home and you didn't start watching all of it. I binged like 5 episodes the night before, and I was like, I can finish it the next day easily, right? I very much easy could, right? It's a very easy watch in my opinion. However, I don't know what was going on with the streaming service or whatever like that. Everything was going good until like the last episode, and then I just kept getting like error messages of it, like it's not loading or like my stuff is going.
There was an update because everyone else texted me. They're like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "What?" And then we were watching Polar Express at the time, so I was like, "Uh-oh!" And then I looked and I was like, "Oh, okay." It had an update, so
Okay.
the Plex was down for like a hot minute.
But like I was getting that, and so I was like, "Oh, I need to finish off the list of things." So technically, I didn't watch the last like 2 to 3 minutes of it, but I think I was at that point where I was like wrapped up at that point. But I'll have you fill me in with the small little things that I missed there, if need be. But no, awesome. Let's go ahead and get into it because speaking about holidays, speaking about time of the season, this doesn't take place during Christmas. But Austin, what did you think of Only Murders in the Building season 5?
So I will say this about the season. Last season, it took me a little bit to watch through this. Like last season, like it was just, I got to a point where it was like, hey, this is kind of the same thing in a way. And I kind of like critiqued it too much. Like I was like, it's the same thing. Someone's going to murder in the building. How long can you do this? But then I started thinking about it, like when I started watching the first episode this season, I was like, all right, actually, I think this show is very well written and very well done. And I do like the stories that they do come up with. It's just, I'm taking it too seriously. So I did watch it. I liked this season a lot. I thought the season was good. Okay. I enjoyed a lot of what was going on this season, like especially I did enjoy that there was like this. Well, one thing I enjoyed was there was a actor that I love that was in this season. He played the high-tech guru guy.
Which one? The older one or the younger one? The older one is from Inglourious
Bastards.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah,
but he's also in a lot of other different movies. It's Christopher Waltz. I love Christopher Waltz, so when I saw Christopher Waltz was on here, I was like, oh my gosh, they got Christopher Waltz. That's great. We did get to see. I kind of like the whole crazy thing about like there being this casino under this like very historical building, like a speakeasy in a way. I liked it. Mm-hmm. It there for a while. I kind of knew who the murderer was after the first episode, because I guessed it like right away. I was like, that's weird that he's like showing up to this person's funeral and he doesn't know who he is. Like, I get he's trying to reelect, but like, why would he show up for just someone's funeral? So I kind of was like, I think it might be the mayor. And I was like, I think he's the one that murdered Lester. But I didn't know the other things that were going to happen at that point. But I did guess that. I will say that. It was pretty easy for me to guess that. I did like the aspect of like, there was like this danger of like them losing their home. I thought that was a cool little twist that they had.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice little thing that they did to like incorporate more stakes. Like, because normally the stakes in like the show is just, oh no, one of us is going to get murdered, and then this was like, hey, you guys are just going to lose your house. Like, that is a more like in a lot of like crime shows, especially like whenever they're trying to like find out the murderer or anything like that. The biggest threat that a lot of them tend to face is just like the murderers are going to find us and kill us, right? And when you're watching a show that has been going on for over 5 seasons with the same cast, the possibility of them dying has lost its like luster after season 2. And so it like the threat of that is kind of thrown away. However, when you introduce the idea, it's like, hey, the hotel is going to be just like removed or like let go. That's a functional threat that isn't like as like confirmed that, hey, that's going to be fine, like everything's going to end up good again.
I did also like there was a character in this season that I kept like looking at and I didn't know where she was from, and I constantly like kept going back and was like, I know that person, I've seen them act, and they act the same person. Who is this? And it was Lester's wife. Lester's wife is Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia's mom, and I didn't put that together until later. I was like, oh, hey, that's his mom, because the other Mac's mom or whatever, the other actress for that died, and there was like a storyline with like her and her like living together, and it was just ridiculous. But there was also I thought the robot was a really funny touch. To like just how AI is and how
I have to
things
ask,
are changing.
Did you see who voiced the AI?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I need to look it up because I have a sneaking suspicion that it's Gus from Breaking Bad.
I thought it was probably going to be the guy that plays Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
Oh, really?
That's what I was thinking.
No, guess who it is?
Takes those who?
Apparently, it is Paul Rudd.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's
good. That's good.
Yeah, the Lester is only Murders in the Building sister. Interesting, because like how he was talking, really like I don't know like what tone like audio things that they did to his voice. I very much believe that was like Carlos Esposito, because he had like more of like a calmer voice, and he had certain inflections that was like, oh, that sounds like Carlos. Nope, I was wrong. I was just wrong.
Yeah, because also too, they did have another big time actor. Like they had some pretty big time people on the show. Like, you know, because Meryl Streep is like a reoccurring character because she's married to Martin Short in the show. But like Renee Zellweger was one of the three evil people, like three of the big rich people. Renee Zellweger was like a big actress in the 90s and early 2000s. I
recognized her instantly, but I don't know what I know her from.
Me, myself, and Irene is like a big one, but like most people know her from Bridget Jones's Diary. That was like her big breakout role.
No, it's me, myself, and Irene for me. I was one of those kids, you know.
Yeah. So it was. I enjoyed the season a lot, and you were right. Like, you know how like you when we first started talking, you're like, you know, when I watch it, you know, it's just I can watch it. Like it's so well written. Like it's a good show to watch. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes I didn't feel that way last season, but then when I watched it this season, I was like, okay, I'm enjoying it a lot more because the aspect that I have differently on like my thought process going in, that I actually binged watched this whole season like within 2 days.
Yeah, I believe it. So like for me, how do I say it? I like it. I think the writing's good. I think the humor works 90% of the time. I think the thing for me that gets a little hard to watch sometimes in this show, is the like old comedy routine slapstick that Steve Martin and what's the other guy's name? Oh, I forget the other guy's name. That was on the top of my head. Martin Short, that's it. I was like, Martin Sheen is what was coming to my head, and I'm like, that's not right. But like their little slapstickness of like, we saw this season with him like looking into the body and how he was just over the top, like doing stuff to it, or like Martin Short whenever he's handling the body and it's going all over the place. It's kind of like cringy to me to watch. But it's like it's not terrible. It's not like I'm not I don't find it funny. It just goes on, and I'm just like, how are you unaware of yourself? And that's like the comedy bit. It's like they're not aware of themselves unless they do all this weird stuff and blah 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 blah. And that's fine. That's fine. But it is funny to me that I was like, ugh, just a little bit. But everything else, I'm like, the story I think was fine. I do find, I don't know if they did this the last couple seasons or not. They did like the double red herring, and that seemed a little much to me.
Yeah.
Because like normally what they would do is like midway through the season, they would introduce something or someone that was the object of suspicion, and then the last like 2 episodes, that person would get clear, and then the true villain would become shown, right? In this season, they did like, this is the bad guy, and then it's like, oh, it's the wife and it's the wives that did it, and then they like free them up, and then it's like, oh, it's the billionaires who did it, and it's like, oh, it's the billionaires, and then it's like, no, it wasn't the billionaires. they didn't do it. I'm like, oh, that's where they did like a double red herring stuff, and it's like, it was the mayor who did it, and I'm just like, okay, that's fine with me. I'm cool with that. It's just it's whenever they do like the double red herring, it's like you could have. We didn't need to ever suspect the wives, you know, like the 2 wives. Specifically, like you said, the Charlie Day's mom, like her character. I loved her character. She's just a nice little old lady who just liked her stuff, and then when she finally said, "You're saying my Lester was murdered? Give me names."
That's exactly how she plays Charlie's mom. Exactly how she plays Charlie's mom.
And then that, like, it made me laugh. I enjoyed that. I also found her, like, the other woman's children to be kind of funny, with like all of them being like macho men, but they're kind of dumb. And then they just kind of run their dad's store. They're like mom's boy, but they're kind of dumb. I found like a lot of the stuff in this show was very humorous. Also, freaking shout out to Beanie. She played Altina or Althena, the friend of Mabel.
Fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her. I was like, it's the girl from What We Do in the Shadows. She's the one that gets turned into a vampire. So I saw her. I got really excited. I'm like, heck,
it's the bike helmet. I saw Blade.
I saw her. I'm like, great. I love seeing like actors that like who do like side roles in shows become like get bigger roles. I'm like, she's a great actor. I love it. I want her to get more things. I'm all for that. And then like you said, the one guy, Christopher Waltz, I saw him and so went like, I recognize him. I know exactly who that guy is. But it was, yeah, like I think overall in this season I liked it. I was about to say a criticism that I realize cannot be 100%. And my criticism I was about to make is like you have the like it's very common in these type of murder shows or like comedy shows or whatever that they introduce characters in that season and you're instantly like, if you're trying to figure out who done it, the billboard of like who is the murderer should include all the new people who already got introduced in episode 1, 2, or 3, right? You don't have to include the original cast. But that's not true, because we had, I think it was like, what, season 3 or 4? I forget which one it is. The one dude, the one tenant, Nathan Lane's character, gets found out like he's not the murderer, but he has like a underground morgue theft ring, and he gets thrown in jail, which he does come back in this season. Because he gets released from prison. But, so I'm like, okay, no, they did throw a character who was in the previous seasons in jail, so that's possible. But, no, it was one of the things that, It was a good show. I very much enjoyed it. I'm sad that Lester is no longer going to be in the show because I very much enjoyed his presence. He was a very like nice individual. So he will be missed. Like I wish he was still in the show. And maybe they'll do more flashbacks or whatnot. But
it was also nice to see the two characters from the first season, Nathan Lane and Teddy. You know, the deaf kid and his dad that went to prison. He's the one that's like, I speak fluent Italian. Nathan Lane. I always know him as Timon.
Why I saw Nathan Lane, but I didn't see when did his son come back? I didn't remember his son being back.
His son was opening up the door, and that's when they found out that like the doorman, Lester's doorman guy, was like squatting in that room, and he went to like run out.
Oh yeah,
and he came in and he was like doing that sign language to like.
I didn't connect. I didn't connect that honestly.
I forget her name. I always forget. It's Mabel.
Yeah, Mabel. Yeah.
Mabel. Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna say I did like this season a lot better than the last season though. I know that you didn't watch the 2 minutes left of that season, so
yeah.
It actually revealed that there is someone on the run that had red hair.
So what I saw the last thing was they were listening to the new podcast, and then she was talking about like the fire woman, like the woman who had curly hair like blood, and like she's going to America, blah blah. And then like you see this girl, she has like red curly hair, and she's like walking blood smears, and she gets to the gate and she falls over and like passes out, and they're like, oh, what's going on? And then they're walking out, and where it stopped working was as they looked up and saw her at the gate, and I was figuring I was going to get to see her face or something like that. So I'm like, I don't know if
you do, because what happens is they're like, oh well, she actually died before she's in the building. So is it like and then they have like this whole fight about what is generally the building and the murder that happens in it. You're like, well, Lester actually died in the courtyard, like, you know. But she like comes back to life for like 2 seconds, and then she puts her hand on the gate, and they're like, well, she's in the building, you know, because they were like, well, the gate, you know, is pretty much the mark of the building.
That would have been,
and then she does
that would have been a great,
and they do reveal her face, so you have to watch. I don't know, like I kind of was like, I don't know if I remember that person from season 1 or 2 or something like that.
I haven't looked at person, but I didn't know if she was like an actress or something like that people knew.
I don't know. I'm gonna do a little small deep dive.
Yeah, go ahead. I think. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they're doing another season. I thought they were only going to do like this was going to be the end of the series.
So that Sydney Canner, the true crime podcaster girl, that's her.
Oh, that's just her. That's
her. Like that's her character. She's the next victim. So it's setting up for season 3. Dying in London, setting up for season 3. Okay. So it looks like the gang is going to solve that murder, but it's also going to be somewhere else where they solve it. Kind of like what they did here, where they kind of like they went outside the building to like find people. It
was much more like on scene.
I will say what's really funny is it was funny that when they pulled up and they were like, they're living in the Godfather house. And it's like, really? And I was like, that is the Godfather house. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh yeah, legit Godfather house. It was legit. It's somewhere I've always wanted to visit just to like look. I don't know if it's a museum still, but I would be really funny if I ever get to New York. I could just like drive up to it and be like, hey.
I will gotta say, props to the little kid in that episode when he's just like showing me, it's just like, I like your skin, and it's just like, oh, that's the most kindest and creepiest thing. That's the first compliment that ever made me like shudder in my soul. And then like it's like, if it's like, why are you out here? It's like, Dad says like children who interrupt get sent to the cellar. And then there's the single scene where like the dad wins and you just hear like clapping. He's just like, good job, father. And like, oh, Jimmy, to the cellar. And he gets out and leaves, and you don't see him ever again. And I'm like, What the freak? He was happy for you.
Then I also think that we will be seeing a major problem this season coming up.
Yeah.
I have a theory on it, and that is Steve Martin,
Uh-huh.
because he's showing signs of dementia or psychological break, because he's, when he's talking, he sees that body talk to him multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's also, when he says he's taking his testosterone, I think he's taking that as a trial version. He might have Alzheimer's. But he didn't want to tell them that he was taking the trial for Alzheimer's.
I just remember them saying that he, like, the whole like thing, he was on the placebo end.
Yeah. But I think he was saying that because he's starting to like grip, because he's getting to the age of that, and he's also he's still a little sharp, but like he's also slipping into some psychotic break or into Alzheimer's, I'm thinking, or dementia. I think that's what it is.
I think
that's
he's
what
just
I'm
becoming a medium.
maybe. But no, I did enjoy this season. I thought it was really fun. It was entertaining to have like this casino below, and then they were fighting for the casinos. I died so much when Steve Martin Short revealed to the therapist, like the psychologist, their therapist person was like, yeah, they're gonna make a casino, and this is gonna, he's like, so you're telling me there's gonna be a whole bunch of people with gambling debts? Yeah, they're gonna be terrible and everything like that. Yeah, isn't that horrible? And he's like, no, that's the most money I'm in. I was like, yep.
My only issue that I do have is that like they're like, oh my gosh, there's this evil casino, casino underground, blah blah, like all that stuff, right? I have two issues with the function of that. But I also hate how the one woman, whenever they're trying to get information from her, they're like, you want information about the underground casino, the worst kept secret in the
Arcadia.
The Arcadia. And I'm just like, apparently it wasn't the worst kept secret, because like no one in the building knew about it other than Lester. Like unless like that term was supposed to mean like the worst kept secret between workers of the Arcadia. Because like there was the whole disparity between the workers and the people who live in there type of thing. But
by the way, I like Jeff the Trash Man. He's my spirit animal.
I like
that
Jeff
guy is
too.
awesome. I love it when he's like, we should grab that robot and then throw him off. Oh wait, we already did that. Yeah, you murdered him. Yeah.
No, I found that funny. I also like how he's just like, I don't share my trash with no one. Yeah. I was like, spirit animal there. Real powerful spirit animal.
Yeah.
But no, one of the things I was going to say that I didn't like about the season, I didn't enjoy, was the at the very bottom, like their way of finding the casino was with the card, where you use like the little spy trick thing to like find your way through.
The makeup eye thing.
Well, yeah, the makeup I think was stupid, because that doesn't work that way.
It doesn't.
What I was going to say is the idea that the card is a way to bypass the security cameras. Why would you?
Well, I was a little upset about the deck of cards thing, because he only used one card. And I was like, that is a huge map that he is mapping out. It's more than that card. I was like, it would have to be so small that he would have to, like, it would be really, really small.
Yeah.
I would think maybe if like the whole deck of cards was a map and it had like numbers on the, I was like, oh, that would have been cool.
Furthermore about that, right? He starts looking for the, like, using that map from up in the like actual rooms or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It took that is way too long.
But Austin, that deck of card was for billionaires to come to the place, right? Yeah. Why would they ever be in the hotel, like up in the hotel? Wouldn't only the deck of cards ever matter for the people in the lobby, coming from the lobby to that room area? And furthermore, why would you make a deck of cards to dodge the security cameras that you own?
Well, no. So I don't think it's for, because the deck of cards is from that mobster that
but they specifically point out. They specifically point out him and Mabel is just like this is taking us on a route that dodges all the security cameras.
I think that's saying that for like that gangster, because in case something would happen, like if he knew, he probably dodged the cameras because he didn't want anyone to know that he was there.
That
So
I
that's why
understand. It kind of goes out the window whenever Lester is in on it. who
Yeah,
could-
that's
he doesn't need to know how to go. He just needs to follow Lester. Also, the security cameras in there are on what's his face's dime, where they edit things out all the time. So there's no real point for you to dodge the security camera. Also, why does he need that when he can go into his own business and go travel on below and go right
Correct.
into it? It was a dumb kind of like premise thing. I'm like, it was supposed to be a MacGuffin, a plot device for them to find the underground casino, but how they created it and why it was created doesn't make sense for the situation. And they got rid of that the second that they could. Like the second they got there, they're like, don't think of that in the cards ever again.
So I don't know, because they were kind of iffy on the cards, but wasn't he giving the deck of cards to people though?
But that's the thing. Apparently, like that was the concept I got, was that he was giving those to people, right? Why do they need to dodge the security cameras if Lester is there and laying them in on things?
But the thing is like maybe they don't trust him either. Like they
Oh.
don't trust him because he's a millionaire.
They haven't,
It's
they haven't
gonna do
trusted
that.
Lester for
Yeah.
his whole life. They haven't trusted Lester, but yet, like, furthermore, those cards just dodge the security camera. They don't dodge people. So you think there would have been stories of people saying, like, yeah, I randomly saw, like, this, like, billionaire in the lobby. I don't know where he went, but, like, I saw him. Because they couldn't just dodge people. And if they really wanted to, like, dodge people and avoid everything, they would have taken down that more direct route from that, the clothes place. Because no one would care if a bunch of people went into a clothes shop and then don't come out forever. Or go into a hotel lobby and don't come out forever. But the hotel is a lot more high profile. Like, people see you go in there. And that also is, like, prime A, what's the term where scandal kind of deal. Like if you see some tech billionaire who's like rich go into a building by himself, it's a hotel, what's the first thing that's coming to your mind? Probably sleeping around, or he's doing something like that, and that's going to cause like scandals. Not a thing. It was, to me, it was kind of a weak MacGuffin that they used, and I think they could have made a lot more stream or better one. But they very much put that system in there to unimplicate Lester early on. That's all it was. It was just meant to be like, oh, Lester didn't know about this because this was a thing only these mobsters did. And then after a couple episodes, they revealed it anyway, so I don't see what the point of. I will say my favorite episode this season was the Lester episode where you got his background and you got to see him like slowly like catch up. Like he meets like Mabel, he meets all the other people, and he starts slowly falling in love with the hotel. And it's just like it makes you like him. And like, yeah, he was working or doing kind of a underground casino ring, but it wasn't like a mobster casino ring. It was a rich casino, like illegal casino. So
Yeah, it wasn't anything to me like it didn't hurt anyone. It was more of like it hurt people's wallets, but they were rich, uber rich, so it didn't really.
it was a secret society of super rich people. So it's like if not here, they're going to do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And he's making some extra money, so him and his wife can like have a good time. So it's like solid. I'm okay with that. It is sad that they never got to move into the Arcadia. I thought this season was going to end with Martin Short's character, who was going to move with his wife, giving up his hotel to his wife and be like, you can have it. Like I'll release my room to you. I'm going to move anyways. This way, this woman doesn't get the 51%, and I get to move out and go back to my childhood home with my new wife, and this, and this. But he didn't do it.
But she got to move in.
When did she move in?
Oh, I don't know if you saw this. So the woman that Steve Martin sleeps with.
Yeah.
She actually has an amount of money that was given to her that was in a
Yes.
plaid bag,
Yes,
and
I remember that.
she goes to Italy or whatever.
Yes,
She
I
leaves and
remember
goes
that.
to Italy.
She has the phone call with her mom.
Yeah, before that, the Lester's wife is in the Arcadia, living in the Arcadia, and she has a bag of money, and it's from
it's from
that lady.
the
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
catch that was in the Arcadia.
Yeah, that
my
was in the
bad.
Arcadia.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Then. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
As long as Lester's wife gets to finally live in the Arcadia, then we're good.
Yep.
So I'll be honest, Lester and her should have been both in it.
Yeah.
Too bad. R.I.P. Lester. We loved you. Now we have to deal with Paul Rudd as a robot for the next couple seasons, which is fine. I like Paul Rudd. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is how like he was used as like the villain through the whole season. He's just like, it's okay. Deal with. I'm used to being called the villain. Humans make me out to be the villain. I'm just like, look here. AI is killing everything I love about the internet, and I hate you for it. But it's not your fault as AIs. It's humans' fault for finding ways to cut other humans out of money to be able to survive. So do I hate AI? Yes, because they're stealing all my RAM, gosh dang it. And now RAM prices are too expensive. But when you give it a little cute adorableness, no, I don't hate Wall-E, but I do hate the corporation that created Wall-E. Man.
I will say this: my hate for this character is still in this season. I do not like Howard. I never did. I just don't like him as a
You don't like Howard?
character. I don't like Howard, but I will say this: I did like how Howard figured out the murder and everything that was going on.
Howard
I just
to
don't
me-
like Howard when he's like very ruthless and cutthroat. Sometimes where like he's like it feels like he's flippy floppy a lot. Like he flip flops a lot, and it feels
it kind of shows why in this season. Like
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
ending
yeah.
where he like explains that he's trying to keep things together, but everything he loves keeps falling apart, and
yeah.
he doesn't feel wanted or loved. And like even like Steve Martin's character explains to him, he's just like, we haven't been good like neighbors. We always say like, how you doing, how we doing. We don't ever really mean it. We haven't been good neighbors. And he like kind of breaks down, like Howard's character breaks down with him, and like that's why he attached himself to Lester and was kind of like a villainish character of the season. Or like, and he like even explained, he's like, the pig was just a cry for help, man. Like, I'm like, yeah, he just very much doesn't have like a support structure, because like he doesn't have his mom because she passed away, and his boyfriend broke up with him. He doesn't have like his animals he doesn't really care for. So it's like, yeah, that's why he's that way, Austin. And I'm like, I'm hoping that in this next season, whenever they do it, he's more like center, because like now he seems to be dating the other boy from the I don't know what to call them other than the mobster podcast people,
Yeah.
which I very much enjoyed that out of left fieldness, because like you don't like Howard. I enjoy his like how you say it, like it's I don't really think it's charisma, but it is charisma. His ability to just like clock someone and then like slip into their DMs effectively, because like I'm pretty sure he did this before and a couple times too, but he did it to that guy. There was no inclination, no inclement at all that guy was into it, and then he says the thing and instantly that guy's just like, oh heck yeah, let's do this. I was like, dude, you gotta give him points for game. Like he knew, he saw, he wanted, he conquered apparently. So good for him. Oh man. All right, Austin. Do you have anything else you would like to say about Only Murders in the Building? If you hear little like cracking noises in my mic, Molly has started kneading and like clawing my drawers on my desk and on my nightstand, because they're they're felted, and she has destroyed one as I was sleeping one night. So my life's great. Do you have anything else you would like to say, Austin?
No. I enjoyed the season, and I'm glad that it keeps getting popular. Like, I think I love Martin. I love Steve Martin. Steve Martin is my favorite comedian of all time. So just anytime that he's on a screen, I love watching him. I think he's just goofy out there, and he's funny, but he also has like this slight of intelligence to him that I love. And I love him because also like his music is great. I love him when he has a band, and it is great. But Steve Martin is a funny man. I think Martin Short and him work really well. And even what's her name? Selena Gomez. I think she does phenomenal in the show too. So like this trio is really well done, and they knew what they were doing when they started writing the show. So
she's a great pool. She does a great job of really like both Martin Short and I said Martin Sheen. Martin Short and Steve Martin have great comedic timing and functionality, and Selena plays such a fantastic she's not deadpan. That's not the term. I forget what the term is, but it's like in the comedy duo, she's the level-headed one, but she still enjoys and involves herself with the goofiness of the other two. You know, like Martin's going to be over here messing with a dead body like an idiot, and then Martin is talking to someone and just like trying to make it about himself and saying like really funny things, and then she's over here like, I have to manage these two, and after a certain point she's like, I'm not going to fight you on this, it's kind of hilarious, let's talk about it. And I very much enjoy it. I think she does a great job as like an ensemble cast of those three, and she really carries a lot of great like emotional and like elements on herself, with her and her friend like fighting each other during this season, or like ex-friends. Their little conversation they had, like, it felt great and from the heart. So it's like, good job.
Yeah.
And she does a great job.
Yeah.
All right, Austin. Well, I think that basically covers it for this week of Brews and Shows. Next week we'll be doing, per your request, Smiling Friends Season 3. That got wrapped up. I haven't been watching any of them. I've just been seeing occasional TikTok things.
Squilliam!
I just the things I've only seen was like the Alan We Are So Effed.
Oh yeah, that's
that like everyone did, and then something
Squilliam.
else. No, I haven't seen anything about Squilliam yet.
The Squilliam dance one, where he's like you did the Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And Squilliam.
Oh, I didn't know what that was from. I just literally saw that and found funny.
That's from Smiling Friends.
Okay.
Wait, he's dead? That's not happy.
Yeah. And so, and then the whole, Joe, did that dude just turn to sand? Like,
that's first episode too.
I found a bunch of TikToks where people were just taking those things and just inputting them into everything. Like walking in, like, whoa, did that guy just turn to sand?
Well, this season that we're gonna watch, Smiling Friends, it has some answers to some very long questions that we've had from Smiling Friends, but also it brings even more questions.
Like, what the freak is Pim? What the freak is the other guy? I forget, Charlie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Austin, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I had a great old time, fun old time, and thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and thank you all so much for tuning in.